It's warm in here. Is it warm in here?
It's all right. Plenty cold outside.
Well, we need to bring some of that coolness in here. Good morning. Good morning. No, I just throat.
Well, you had a practice yesterday. You got some guys out there like Sidney Jones and Mike Wallace. Any chance that any of them play this weekend?
Well, we got to see them again today. Get them back out there and move around a little bit more. They're both doing good, but I won't make a determination until I see them again today.
Tate and Jeffrey are on the injury report. Are those injuries suffered in the game, or were they during practice this week?
The game from the Bears game, both of them Bears game. Yeah.
What's impressed you most about those three young cornerbacks who have really stepped up over the last month, especially?
Our guys?
Yeah.
I think that just playing with a little more confidence, playing together. They're hearing all the calls, that the safeties or linebackers are making, and again, I think it just comes with playing more, and they're playing good, they're playing fast, and they're not necessarily thinking as much as just reacting to what they see, and then that's a good spot.
Would Jones be a similar case to Isaac last week, where if he was healthy enough to go, he'd be able to just be injecting that starting lineup?
I until I see today, I'm not going to make those determinations and speculate on players that way. I don't feel it's fair to them, but he's doing good, and we just got to get through another day.
Doug, you're headed out to Louisiana where your coaching career began. Just two things. Do you feel like it's that long ago, and how much does coaching at the high school level impact what you're doing now with your guys?
Well, I think it does feel like an eternity ago. A few more gray hair, I think, being up here, but I just think I think back on those days and some of the big games we played in. I mean, obviously it's a bigger stage, but really the bottom line is you go out and you relax and have fun. It's the same thing you do on the high school level, and you try to bring that same sort of enthusiasm and excitement to your guys here, even though it's it's a divisional playoff game against the number one seeded team in the NFC, so it's a little different. But it'll be a fun experience.
Wendell, he's been in and out, and then recently he's been a big contributor. Just how he's hung in there and been able to, help this team out.
Yeah, Wendell's done a nice job for us all season, and his role on special teams has been pivotal, and then obviously his role on offense, with the running back room, and everybody knows we're going to rotate guys and keep guys fresh and healthy, and there's been a couple games, here down the stretch where he's had the hot hand, and we've kept him going, and so he's one that we count on, we rely on, and he'll have his opportunities again, this weekend.
I think he talked about it, just about keeping himself in shape and keeping himself out of that trainer's room.
Well, that's the thing. His first couple of years he'd been nicked up, and I think sometimes too, transitioning from college to the pro, just we have less bodies to work with once we get to the regular season sometimes, and than you do in college. But so he's fought through some injury, and credit to him. He got healthy, he got back on the field, and he proved to us as a staff that he deserved a spot coming out of training camp, and he just continues to do his job. He doesn't complain, doesn't make any excuses. He goes out and does whatever we ask him to do, and it's put him in a position to help us here down the stretch.
You guys saw a lot of Eli Apple from his time with the Giants. How much does that familiarity help at all going into Sunday's game?
It does. Just knowing him and going up against him, and obviously he's playing well. He's on a good defense, and so it's an opportunistic group, and he's playing with a lot of confidence, and it's but the familiarity with our guys, our receivers who have gone against him, can definitely carry over, from the Giants to the Saints.
Doug, following up on Elliott's question about the young corners, what's Corey's role during the season as far as, you have so many new guys at cornerback coming in as far as teaching?
Corey Unlin,
and just kind of, I would think there's a lot of time to make up because they weren't here, OTAs and minicamp and training camp.
Yeah, as coaches, when we get new players in, their job is to coach up the new players. So they got to spend extra time, outside of the normal classroom, early in the morning, or after the guys go home in the evening, they can stay and spend some time in the classroom and going over tape and going over the playbook that way. And Corey has done that with all the young corners that we've brought in, or even the young ones that have been on practice squad that we elevated. So that's where that's where coaching really can take over, and show the value of a coach is when they can teach and explain things to a young player, and then you go watch them grow and develop and help your team.
Doug, how much are you hearing
Last game against the Saints referenced in the locker room amongst coaches this week? Is it being used as a source of motivation, or
For us?
how much are you hearing it? Yeah.
For us, I know the guys, it's on their mind obviously because we're playing them again, and it's all over the the news every time you turn it on. It's always referenced back to that game, which it's the last thing we know. So the guys understand, didn't play well. If they use it as motivation, great. Everybody gets motivated differently, for different games. I just think that it's a big game because it's the next one, and it's the only one we got left on our schedule, unless we win. And so from that standpoint, the motivation factor is a little different.
Guard against guys.
Oh my gosh, geez almighty.
Right.
False start.
Do you have to guard against guys kind of seeking revenge? In this game, it can be used as motivation. But
Well, yeah, you have to guard against that because if you start doing that, it takes you out of who you are. It takes you out of character a little bit, and you don't want that. You just got to stay within, who you are. Trust the scheme. Trust the process. Trust the guys around you. I mean, that's what you got to do in games like this. You can't get all sideways. Thinking revenge or thinking, we got to do this, we got to do that. We just got to take it one play at a time and get ready for a 60-minute game.
What is it like game planning against Sean Payton? Obviously, you know him really well. You guys probably talk about some stuff while you're golfing, or what is that like? I mean, both you guys are really competitive.
Well, he's been doing it a long time, and he's very creative, and he's a guy that utilizes his personnel extremely well, moves guys around, and then when you have pieces like Kamara and Michael Thomas and some of the tight ends they've had, and now they've got Hill, can Wildcat and different things. I mean, you can see the creativity that he possesses, and the thing is with Sean too, he's gonna exhaust the film, like most coaches, but I think he definitely goes above and beyond to exhaust the tape. He's gonna find something that he can exploit, on our defense, and he's a great play caller, tremendous play caller, and the communication he and Drew have is something that we strive to have here with our quarterbacks, and it's important, I think, that they're on the same page that way, and they've been doing that for a long time, and it's paying off.
A lot of attention obviously goes to the Saints offense, especially what they were doing, scoring some odd points per game and stuff. But do you think their defense kind of gets overlooked a little bit? I mean, how strong do you think that unit is?
Oh, I do. I think this is a tremendous defense. Great against the rush. They're sacking the quarterback. It's a veteran group in the back end, and it's just it's a relentless group. I mean, maybe not doing a whole lot of stuff like we've seen, with maybe the Texans and the Bears and different things, but they don't have to because it's a good defense, and quite frankly, they've, when the offense, Saints offense hasn't been maybe clicking down their defense has kept them in it and allowed them to win some of these games. So, great test again for us.
There was an NFL film segment from last game where Golden Tate on the sideline said he didn't get the kill call on that game-winning touchdown and kind of just looked back, reacted, and sprinted to the right. When you were watching that route, were you kind of wondering what he was doing, or when did you sort of become aware that he didn't get the call?
Yeah, I became aware actually after the game in the dressing room, heading to the buses, that and I said, well, I can't remember who was telling me, but I said it wasn't a kill. We actually went straight to the kill. That was the huddle call. We bypassed everything else and went right to that, and because we had run the same play, previously, it was loud and everything was going on, so he just didn't hear the whole thing, and it just shows to us and to everybody what type of athlete, what type of player he is, that he can still stay in the moment, not panic, see the quarterback coming to you, and know that that's his route, and then to execute the play. I mean, it's just it's a great job on his part.
You said after that first Saints game that there was that 4th and inches on the opening drive that you sort of wished that you had maybe gone for. Do you expect that you might be a little bit more aggressive in those types of situations this week?
I think again it comes down to you know, obviously the situation, all those different things. But I think in games like this, you know, you have to be, you have to stay aggressive. I know that in games like this, in these postseason games. And so, you know, I look back on that, and I know it was only the third, fourth play of the game, so it was, you know, it was still early in that football game. But if that were in the second half or something, you probably do something different and go for it. But those are all things we've exhausted this week on our fourth down stuff, and you know, if we're faced with that again, we'll see where we're at in the game and make a decision then.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
All right.